back. Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is just me kind of putting my foot back in the water, I guess. I have been on a fun little hiatus for a while, so today's video is a life update, but also the mid-year book freakout tag or whatever you call it. As for my life update, hi, hello, I've missed you. I decided to take a little bit of time away just because I was finding myself having a lot of anxiety in regards to filming, in regards to what I was filming, and if the content was even worth filming. And once it started becoming not so much fun, I decided, okay, I need to take a step back, I need to regroup, I need to kind of figure out what I want to do with this, or even if I want to keep doing this. And so that's what I did. And so I have been away for about 4 weeks now, I think. And in that time, I went on a family vacation. We took a Disney cruise, which was a lot of fun. I just took some much needed like me time, took some quiet time. I didn't really read a lot, which was kind of nice to just take a step back from even reading, because I got to the point where what I was reading for not for myself. So I decided that whatever I read, I wanted to read for myself. And that's my next big step in all of this is, yes, I will still do readathons. Yes, I will still do things of that nature, but I'm not going to find books just so it fits the prompt. I'm going to make sure that whatever book I find, I want to read, if that makes sense. That I think I want to enjoy, I want to have a good time with it. I don't want it to become a chore. And so, yes, I went on vacation. We had a great time. At the end of the video, I'll post some pictures or something for you so you can see it. Other things have happened that have not been so great. Went to the dentist, which is the first thing I don't like. I don't like the dentist. Like, I don't know what it is about the dentist, but the dentist seems to give me the most anxiety. I would rather go to the OBGYN than go to the dentist. And for a long time, I avoided going to the dentist. I avoided going even to doctors just because every time I went, there was always something wrong. And so for a while I was going to a dentist that I really liked and I was doing okay. I wasn't having cavities. I was just getting regular cleanings. There wasn't a lot to complain about and it was fine. But then life happened and I was unable to get to the dentist as frequently as I needed to. So I have started at a new dentist, which already spikes my anxiety because it's not anybody I've ever met before. So the dentist I was going to was about 45 minutes away, and mostly because I just really liked her and she was very sweet. And other dentists that I've gone to before that, I never knew which dentist I was gonna get. I never knew which dental technician I was going to get. And that just piqued that anxiety. So I decided new dentist. So I started going to one that was like 45 minutes away. And then the same sort of thing started happening. I always had the same dentist, but it was always a different dental hygienist. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start looking for a new dentist anyway. So I went to find a new dentist because it's been a while, and I found one closer to home and it was fine. But of course it piqued my anxiety. And of course I get in there and they tell me all kinds of things that are wrong with my teeth. I have never in my life clenched or ground my teeth at night, and now all of a sudden that's exactly what I'm doing at night. I'm like, really? That's why I'm having all this weird pain and all this jaw pain. Now I'm having issues with my gums. And it's like, it was one of those things where it was like, see, this is why I don't do this. This is why I don't go to the dentist. But I did, and I went and I've started treatment. It's fine. It's just expensive. And a lot of things my insurance doesn't cover. So it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And so I'm in the process of working on that. I found a mouth guard, so now I'm one of those mouth guard girlies at night, so there's that for you. And so that process has started. A day after I found out about all my dental work that I need done, a tree limb decided to crash through my bedroom and put a hole in my roof and in my bedroom ceiling. So at first we didn't think it was that big, and then we got up on the roof the next day and it was two very large limbs that had fallen on the roof, and one of them came through the bedroom. I am very grateful that I am not hurt because it did come in right over my head. I'm very grateful that it was not my kids' rooms, that it was my room, and that I'm really grateful that my husband was home.
Mommy, I'm going to go poop, okay?
I think I'm gonna leave that in there because that's life. So I was really grateful that my husband was home because normally he works nights and Friday nights are his night at work, but he had had a procedure done and so he was home. I was really grateful he was home because I don't know what I would have done had I been alone. So when big things like that happen, I tend to just freeze and I don't know what to do and I get overwhelmed and my heart really starts racing and I need something to ground me. And so luckily, even though it may have caused some complications for Justin, he was there to help and was quick and helped get a trash can under the window, under the hole. He helped, move the bed out. He moved the bed out of the way completely, even though he wasn't supposed to do that, and all of these things. And so I ended up sleeping on the couch. Now I'm in the process of trying to get it fixed, obviously. We did have someone come out and get the trees off the roof and out of my roof and out of my ceiling, but now we still have this huge hole that we're trying to get fixed. And we also have a feeling it's gonna be a fight with the insurance company because 2 years ago they replaced our whole roof and they're gonna have to do it again because in the town, the community that I live in, they have a policy that basically says that anything you want to do, you can't just patch the hole. The whole roof has to match. So you have to find the exact same shingles, you have to find everything the same, or you have to replace the whole roof. And I know that my insurance company is just going to want to patch the hole. And I know that my town is going to say, no, you can't do that. And so here we are. And so I haven't even heard from anybody yet. So I've got lots of steps to take. I've got lots to do in that regard. And it's a little overwhelming. It's a little, sorry, I just got an email. A little overwhelming, a little frustrating. And I also just don't do well talking on the phone to companies, to insurance agents, except mine. I've had the same insurance agent since I was like 18, maybe younger, since I got my driver's license. And she's always been very sweet. She's out with my dad. She worked with my aunt. So she's very sweet. And she was immediately called me Saturday morning as soon as she saw the pictures I sent her and was on the phone trying to call people to come get the limbs off my roof. But it was all everything else. It was constantly fielding calls. It was talking to people, them saying things I didn't know what they meant. Some of them were kind of rude. It was a lot. And I had to decompress. And so Sunday I decompressed. But I get very anxious talking on the phone. And you would think I would be better at that considering my job, but my job, it's different. My job, I have a script to follow. I have this, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're doing. Like, what's going on with your kiddo? And I just type everything out. It's very much a one-sided conversation, and the one side is the legal guardian that I'm talking to. Generally, me, I'm just asking questions. And so that's really easy for me. But when people are asking me the questions, I tend to get a little more overwhelmed than I probably should. When I'm in control of the situation, it's easier for me. When I'm not, it's not so easy. I may be a bit of a control freak, maybe just a little. So that is where we are, and I have decided to get back into filming and trying to do more of like the tags rather than just vlogs all the time. I will still do vlogs. I like vlogging. I like having you guys see that little aspect of like my personal life, but my vlogs maybe look a little different. I'm still gonna read because that's like what I love to do, but you're gonna see more, I think, of what I'm trying to do outside of just reading, what my life looks like outside of just reading. And so that might mean recipes, because Justin and I are trying to start eating healthier. And so, yeah, we'll see how it goes, because I really want to shake things up a little bit because I was getting bored with what I was filming. So that's part one of the video. So part two is going to be the mid-year freakout tag. I understand, yes, that it is now the middle of July, closer to the end of July, that I'm doing this, but I wanted to do it. And so I wanted to show you guys where I'm at book-wise, let you kind of know what my thoughts have been and things of that nature. Now, I do not have all of the physical copies. I'm gonna put pictures up because that's a lot of books that I'd have to go and pull off my shelves. Justin is sleeping, so I'm trying not to disturb him. And so I'm just gonna show you pictures as best I can. And some of them I don't even have anymore, if that tells you anything. I just already gave them away. The first thing is best book you've read so far in 2023. And I have two of them. And I say that because one of them kind of shocked me. And I was surprised that I liked it as much as I did. And that was Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I'm not a Stephen King girly. Like, I don't think I've ever really read a Stephen King book. And my mom was obsessed with Stephen King. She had read all of his books. She watches all of his movies. And I was kind of raised around it. But until very recently, I was not a horror girly. I was not really a thriller girly. Like, I wanted to have romance and fantasy in my books and in my movies. And so, or action or comedy or rom-coms, you know what I mean? But lately it's kind of taken a turn, and I actually really like thrillers. I really like horror books. I like where that is going. So when I picked up Fairy Tale, I knew that it wasn't a normal Stephen King book. Normal. But it is still very, very good. And I really, really enjoyed it. And it kind of shocked me how much I actually did. The second book that I've read that I've enjoyed the most is Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. This book has resonated with me. This book has stayed with me. And I just really love T.J. Klune. I just do. I can't help it. He's just a fave. And I will buy his books as long as he continues to write them, I think, because I just love his style of writing. I love the stories he creates. I love all of that. And so this book really resonated with me, and it has stuck with me since I read it. Just like House in the Cerulean Sea, they have just stuck with me. And so if it can stick with me as long as it has, and I still think about it, and I still remember the storyline, of course, it's gonna be one of my faves. So then the next one is the best sequel you have read this year, and that's Going to Hellbent. I haven't read a ton of sequels, okay? I've read several books, but I haven't read a lot of sequels. But Hellbent was probably my favorite because I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, because it took me so long to get into Ninth House that I was really, really shocked by how much I really liked Hellbent and how quickly I got into Hellbent. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, no, this book was not great. I didn't like the way this book went. I loved this book. I loved everything about this book. I loved that Darlington was a bigger part of it. I loved how it ended. I loved it. And I was so glad that I read it. It was very, very good to me. So then the next one is new release you haven't read yet, but you want to. In the Lives of Puppets. It is on the agenda. I really want to read it. I was hoping to read it this month or last month, but you know, brain goblins and anxiety and everything else got to me. Life got to me. And so I didn't get a chance to pick it up, but I'm going to very soon, I hope. It's on my shelf. It is staring at me right now. I see you. It's ready for me. I just have to actually pick it up, but I'm excited because again, it's TJ Klune, and apparently he got inspiration from WALL-E, which is one of my favorite Pixar movies. So that is a winner in my book. The next one is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So it's twofold. I'm really looking forward to A Curse of True Love by Stephanie Garber, which is the third book in her Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which I love. The series itself is really great, and it's easy to read. It's fun to read. It's not gonna be your typical like fantasy story. Like you're not going in it for like some epic fantasy. You're going into it for Stephanie Garber, who wrote Caraval series, and I really enjoyed all of that. I'm really enjoying these books, and I'm really excited for the release of this one because the cliffhanger we got left on with The Ballad of Never After is just, it's not acceptable, Stephanie Garber. It's not acceptable. So I'm really looking forward to this one. So I'm really excited for Bring Me Your Midnights, and that is because it is written by Rachel Griffin, who wrote The Nature of Witches and Wild as the Witch, and I really loved both of those books so much, and I told everybody when I read those that I am now a Rachel Griffin stan, and I am. I'm a Rachel Griffin stan, so I'm really looking forward to that one, which I think comes out pretty soon actually, which really thrills me. So excited. So then the next one is the biggest disappointment so far this year, and I'm gonna go with The Iron King. I already gave this book away. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I didn't. It was like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I couldn't really get into it. The story was a little odd. I mean, it's very typical fairy, but it's almost like any other fairy book that I could have read or any book that I've read in the past, just not as well written, in my opinion. So I was really wanting to like this book because I've heard such great things, but I just didn't get into it as much as I wanted to. So I knew I wasn't gonna finish the series, so I just gave the book away. I mean, there are better fae stories, there are better fairy stories. If you want a really good one, you know, Sarah J. Maas has some of the best, and I highly recommend those over something like this. So, but I had really high hopes and I was let down, which I guess is life sometimes. But yeah, I wanted to like it, but I didn't. And that makes me sad because I was really looking forward to it. So then the next one is the biggest surprise so far this year. Again, I'm gonna go with Fairy Tale. You know why? It's a Stephen King book I didn't expect to really like, but I think because it was more fairy tale based and less horror based, I did really enjoy it. Now my goal is this October to read a lot of Stephen King. I want to read Stephen King and I want to watch whatever movie accompanies that, because I want to give myself that option. I want to be able to see if I can really handle it, because part of me wonders if, in all honesty, if the reason I didn't want to read Stephen King is because of how much my mother was into it. And my mother and I have had kind of a strained relationship, and so I didn't, this isn't a therapy session, I'm sorry, but I'm wondering if that's part of the reason I have stayed away from Stephen King as much as I have. So I really want to try again. I've recently purchased Misery for my oldest. Charlie has read Misery, really enjoyed it. Charlie really enjoys these types of books, the thriller, the horror, the psychological thrillers, those kinds of things. That's kind of where them and I meet in the middle, is like, it's kind of where we talk about books, because they're not into fantasy, they're not into romance, whereas I am. But I'm also really into anything that if you think it's good, I will give it a chance, and may or may not have the same opinion. But they recently read Misery, and now they're working on reading Pet Sematary. They're afraid to open it because they've heard so many people say how much it scares them, but we'll see how it goes. So I want to be able to do that with them, along with doing it for my own good. You know what I mean? My last one that I thought was a biggest surprise was Red, White, and Royal Blue. Now, I say that because I didn't think that I would like this story, and I don't really know why. I don't know. I didn't think it was for me, because politics and books is hard for me depending on the politics. And so I was like, I don't know. I went back and forth about reading it, and then finally I did, and I fell in love. Like, this book is amazing. I am so excited for the movie. The love story in this book is so incredible, and it is also so relatable. It really is. And I'm excited to see it in live action, and I'm really grateful that I gave it a chance. It is now up to the top of my list of books that I would recommend. It's a great queer romance. It's a great story. It's a great plot line. It's really, really great. And I'm so glad I read it. It was so good. And it was kind of a surprise, because I really didn't think I'd enjoy it. And maybe it was because of all the hype around it, where I was like, meh, whatever. But clearly, there's a reason it has hype. And I need to get into my mind and say, if the book has hype, give it a shot, because there's a reason it has hype. But I've read hyped books that I'm like, But yeah, that's where we are. It was a good one, and it was a big surprise. So then the next one is favorite new author debut or new to you. And I have two of them. I'm gonna go with Travis Baldree, who wrote Legends and Lattes. This book was exactly what I needed when I read it. It was cozy, it's comforting, it's not high stakes. It's just exactly what you need to feel okay. And I think it is a great book to get you out of a reading slump. He creates this world and these characters that are just like normal people, normal humans, but really it's an ogre. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. It is such a great story. All she wants to do is open a coffee shop. And she does. She opens her coffee shop. So it's really great. And the friendships that were built and the way he created the stories and the way he created the characters were just amazing. And I'm now a Travis Baldree fan, and I will read any of the books that he comes out with. Yep, I'm doing it. So my next one is Meg Schaefer, because she wrote The Wishing Game, and I really enjoyed The Wishing Game. This was very cute. It had a lot of fantasy elements. It was a lot of fun. You didn't know what really was going to happen next. It was riddles. It was family relationships. It was everything I could have possibly wanted. And the plus side to this book for me was that they depicted life in foster care really well. Meg Schaefer did really well depicting like what it is like for a kiddo in foster care, and the trauma they endure, and the things that wouldn't normally bother a person couldn't bother a kiddo in foster care. Like in this case, he didn't like answering phones because his parents died of an overdose, and so phones were ringing, he had to answer the phone, he had to call, so he doesn't like to answer phones. He doesn't like to talk on the phone. So that's very normal for you and I, talking on the phone, doing whatever we need to do. But a kid in foster care can totally relate it to something else. And it also is a really great look at how hard it is to adopt a kid that's in foster care, and how the hoops that you have to jump through in order to get this kid that you so desperately love. I loved that. The plus side is also, I was reading about Meg Schaefer, and she's actually an MFA candidate in screenwriting at Stevens College in Columbia, which is 2 hours away from me. So I'm like, oh look, she lives in Missouri. So yeah, it's cool. It was great. She's a really great writer. I think anything else she writes, I will definitely jump on board for, because I did really enjoy this. I really like her writing style. She kept it very well and engaged. Yeah, I liked it. I really, really liked it. So then it asks you for your newest fictional crush. So I'm gonna have to go with Jack from Immortality / Anatomy. I read both of those this year, and both of those books are really great. And he is just a nice guy. He really is. And he's very easy to relate to. And so yeah, he's one of my new crushes. I'm gonna go with Charlie and Nick from Heartstopper. Those two are just adorable. They're adorable. I don't know what else to say. They're adorable. And then Alex from Red, White, and Royal Blue. He is amazing. He is funny. He is charming. He is just sarcastic, and I love him. I could banter with him all day if he gave me the chance. So the next one is a book that made you cry. So I don't really cry at books. I don't really cry unless I'm crazy over emotional. If I'm angry is a good one. Or if something in my life is changing that I don't like to see it change. Like the last time I really cried was when a woman who raised me, basically, left. She left and moved to Virginia to be closer to her kid and her oldest. So I bawled my eyes out. I cried. I couldn't stop crying, and I was really sad because I wasn't going to see her every Sunday like I normally did. And so things like that, big changes, transitions, when people die, I mean, of course, but I don't really cry at books. I don't cry at books. I do cry sometimes at movies if I am have been emotionally invested in a series of movies. Like I cried my eyes out during Endgame. Avengers Endgame, cried my eyes out. So what I put here is I said a book that made you cry almost. Because I just didn't cry really at any books. And so we're gonna go with Remarkably Bright Creatures and Under the Whispering Door. These two books were the closest I think I got to actually crying in books. And it was mostly because of the relationships that were built and how they change and how they shift and how, I don't really know how to explain it. If you've read these books, you understand how it works, how it plays out, and how the dynamics of the relationships work. I don't know, but these are the books that I almost cried at. There you go. There's your answer. So then the next one is newest favorite character. So I decided to go with Tilly from Pages & Co. For one, because she's very cute and she's very spunky. She's very creative, and she's also kind of a loner. And I like that because that was kind of me when I was her age. I really liked reading books. I had friends, of course I did, but I just would have rather hung out in my room, listen to music, read books, and not necessarily interact with anybody. Wow, that's kind of me now. Oh well. So yeah, that's why I like her so much. And she's very funny, she's very smart, she's very, witty, and she lives in a bookshop. I mean, who wouldn't want that life? Then my other new favorite character is Hazel from from Anatomy and Immortality. She's very strong, she's strong-willed, she is determined, she is smart, she is patient, she is all of these things that I wish I could be. Let's be honest. She is funny and she's very strong, and that's what I think, the strength and the determination is what I think draws me the most to Hazel as a female character, for sure. So I highly recommend these books because they're really good, and I highly recommend introducing yourself to Hazel because she's wonderful. Okay, so then it was a book that made you happy. So there's 3 of them that I listed. Happy Place by Emily Henry made me very, very happy. The Romance Book Club made me very, very happy. And The Ballad of Never After made me very happy. All 3 of these books, for different reasons, I smiled through. Happy Place was just this very simple romance and with sarcastic group of friends. The Romance Book Club, if you read these books and you don't smile, there's something wrong with you. If they don't make you happy, there's something wrong with you, because it's literally a group of men reading romance books in order to make their relationships better with their significant others. And they're men reading romance, but talking like men talk. It's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I've read this one, and I read A Very Merry Bromance at Christmas, which may become a every year read because it's fantastic. And then The Ballad of Never After is because I just really love this story. I love this concept of this story. I love the characters in this story. I love the building of the relationships, and it just makes me happy. Did the ending? No. But the rest of the story made me very happy. So then, favorite book to film adaptation you've seen this year? I've only seen A Man Called Otto, and it was fantastic. I loved this movie. I have read the book. It was a really long time ago, and I clearly misunderstood the storyline. I need to reread it, but it was very good. The movie was very good. I love Tom Hanks. I will pretty much see Tom Hanks in anything he is ever in. And this, as a grumpy old man, made me so freaking happy. It was fantastic. So the next one is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. So this one I actually did pull out some of the books that I have that I think are really beautiful. And I picked them because they're probably the most gorgeous copies that I have. I've started doing Fairy Loot and I started doing Book of the Month. I've paused both of those for a little bit just to like get some finances under control, and to read some of the books, you know, I have on my shelves because I have a ton of them that I need to read. And so these are probably the most beautiful editions that I ever get, is the Fairy Loot editions of these books. And so I do have a couple here that I think are the prettiest, but the first one I will show you actually is one I picked up from Barnes & Noble. It's the Barnes & Noble edition of the Foxglove King. This book is so like pretty. Like I like the other one as well, the one that has like the pink in it and stuff, but this one made me really happy because like, I mean, it's very gorgeous. It has like the rougher edges, you know, and I actually like that. I know a lot of people that don't, but I actually like that. I think it gives the book a better look, you know, and it's very shiny. And this book was very good, so it worked out really well. So then the two books that I picked that I think are really gorgeous from my Fairy Loot are one I just got. I think it was last month's book. Yeah, but it's Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. And so it's really pretty, it's really shiny, and then it's got the like the watered edges, you know, that look like water. And then you've got your end papers that are really pretty. And then the book itself without the cover is still really gorgeous. So this is definitely one of them. It's also, you know, signed, which is always a plus. And this book, I believe, is about a siren. So I think it's like a take on Little Mermaid, maybe? I don't know. I'll have to read it and find out. And then the other one I got is by Alexandra Bracken, and it's Silver in the Bone. I really want to read this. It sounds so stinking good. The only thing I don't necessarily like about this book is, yes, it's very pretty. The edge is very pretty, but it doesn't have the name in it. So when it's on my shelf, this is all you see. So you have to actually physically pull it out to figure out what the book is. But then it's got the sword on the side, really pretty. I mean, again, really gorgeous end papers. And I think it's an Arthur retelling, which is kind of cool. But, I mean, the book itself is really gorgeous. And like I said, the end papers. So, those are just some of them. I have several more. Like, I have the Fairy Loot edition of Spice Road that I think is really pretty. City of Nightmares was really pretty. Things of that nature. But those are just some of them that I have that I love. So, those are just some. I think they're really pretty. I like those. And then the last one is, what books do you need to read before the end of the year? And I wrote whatever I want. That's my goal. I just want to read what I want to read. I don't want to feel like I have to read books. Like, I'm not going to join as many buddy reads because that was becoming overwhelming. Because I don't really know if I was doing that more for the book or more for the social aspect. You know what I mean? So I don't want to, I'm going to do less buddy reads because I really want to focus on things that I want to read. I want to read all these books that I have. I bought Wolfsong by TJ Klune that I really want to read. I bought Book Eaters. I bought all of these books that I really want to read. And so that is my goal. I'm going to read what I want. I'm going to join buddy reads, of course. Those are a lot of fun. I'm going to join book clubs. Those are a lot of fun. But I'm not going to pressure myself and kill myself to get specific books read by the end of the year. That is the goal, friends. That is the goal. Hope you enjoyed the video. I am happy to be back. I am happy to be getting my foot back in the water. I am vlogging. I am in the middle of a vlog. I think my vlogs are now going to go from Monday to either Saturday, maybe Monday to Saturday, maybe Monday to Sunday. If I can start editing as I go, I may do Monday to Sunday and have it posted by Monday morning. Start your week off that way. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Also, you know, life happens and kids happen and kids are about to start school in August. Charlie's going to a brand new school. They are going to a private school. Cadence is going into first grade. It's a lot. So it'll be fun. I'm hoping it'll be fun. I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy the journeys that are coming up ahead of me. Like I said, we are still working on getting my office together, so I'm very excited to build that. We're gonna get Charlie's bedroom together downstairs. We have other things coming up. It's concert season for me, so I'll be going to concerts. I'll be going out with friends. I'm doing this. Saturday, we're going to a burlesque show for Justin's birthday, so you're gonna get a little sneak into that. So I'm gonna do it. We're gonna have some fun, I think. It'll be good. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.